When Kyle Busch wrecked him at Charlotte, Colin Braun lost his best shot yet at a NASCAR truck win. Well, he got that victory this weekend. Guess who he had to pass to do it? We're also going to be talking to your road racer turned stock car driver Colin Braun, who passed a dominant Kyle Busch Friday to win his first Camping World Truck Series race. Also ahead, why did Colin Braun decide to hang up his road racing aspirations for a career in NASCAR? The latest Truck Series first-time winner joining us shortly. I am confident that no such fate awaits this week's Golden Corral hungriest driver, because NASCAR doesn't take wins away, and this 20-year-old kid road racer is the Camping World Truck Series newest winner. That victory might have come 4 races ago in Charlotte. Colin Braun was leading, and Kyle Busch wrecked him. You know, one of those racing deals. You know what I mean? I'm thinking maybe that left Braun hungry for a payback. So isn't it fitting that it was Busch's dominant number 51 down there on the bottom, that Braun up on top blew by in traffic on Friday in Michigan, Saturday actually. Thus, Colin gets his first NASCAR win, and the kid vaults up 6 points to 12th in the truck standings, and now joins us live here on Windtunnel. It's had welcome. It's had time now to soak in, sink in. How's it feel to have your first NASCAR win?
Well, so far it's great. I'm not sure if I was more excited about winning that race or when we got the email that said you wanted to have us on the show. I was pretty excited about that.
What a sweet talker. Well, naturally, we jumped at the opportunity to play up the whole Kyle Busch angle because, you know, we're kind of crass and self-serving, and we know that that gets people excited. What is the truth in the matter? Was it a little more satisfying to you that it was him that you passed to win the race?
Well, I think it certainly was. You know, I think everybody who's watched NASCAR in the last little bit sees how dominant he is, no matter whether it's a nationwide car or a truck. And to go and beat him straight up, you know, he didn't have a flat tire, he didn't get in a wreck, we just beat him straight up. It was pretty special.
And he wrecked you at Charlotte. But
I wasn't going to go there. I'm not going to go there.
I remember back, what was it, 06, I think. There was a big stir at Watkins Glen because you were banned from the Daytona prototype race, not because of anything you did other than just show up at the age of 17 at a track that had a cigarette sponsorship deal. The point of that is not that you were banned from this race, but that you were, in fact, a winning Daytona prototype driver at that age. And my question is, how did you get that good that quick? What was the path you followed?
Well, you know, started out racing quarter midgets and go-karts when I was a little kid growing up. My dad was an engineer at the time for a bunch of IndyCar teams and always involved in racing. So I guess I grew up in the sport, you know, and just kind of followed what he was doing. He ran my go-karts, engineered me, you know, taught me all about the sport, and you know, just learned that way, and I guess you know, worked at it hard and had good people behind me to get me to where I am.
So you developed this incredible road racing ability. You've given that up, but I wonder if you felt even the tiniest twinge of regret maybe that your former team was racing Le Mans this weekend. I mean, that's a road racer's dream.
Absolutely. I love doing that race back in 2007. To finish second there my first time, that was really special. But, you know, on the same weekend, I guess I got my first truck win as well. So, you know, you can't beat that.
That counts, too. You're certainly not the first road racer to make a career decision to go NASCAR round-and-round racing. You are the one who happens to be sitting here tonight, so thus you have to field the question. Why? What is the appeal? What prompted that career move? Is it just money?
No, you know, for me it's not. For me, I wanted to race against really good drivers, and I feel like in NASCAR, that's where some of the best drivers are. That's where the hardest racing is. You know, second to that, I love racing cars, you know, side by side, wheel to wheel, and obviously in NASCAR, you watch those races, they're always racing side by side, nose to tail, all the time.
Road race enthusiasts, many of whom admittedly and openly hate NASCAR, point out that road racers turn right and left, and NASCAR racers only turn left. Therefore, it must be dramatically easier.
Well, I can tell you, since I've done both of them, it's not.
Okay,
you know,
and why? I want to know why. You only turn one direction.
Well, for me right now, it goes down to experience. You know, I'm racing against guys in the truck series like Ron Hornaday and Mike Skinner and Ty Bodine who have so much experience, and they've been great helping me out, teaching me. You know, I have my own teammates at Roush Fenway that have done the same thing, but, you know, it's just challenging. You go out there and to drive the truck by itself is not super hard, but but you go out there and you start putting, everybody out there. You get the air that takes you off your spoiler. You get tight behind people. You have all these different factors that play a big part of it in the circle track racing, and I think that's what makes it so difficult.
Need a commercial break on that note. We'll come back with Colin and a couple important motorcycle notes right after this. Don't go anywhere. Windtunnel continues in a moment.
The Hungriest Driver has been presented by Golden Corral. Introducing Golden Corral's 7-day dinner cruise. Different buffet features every night.
My guest is Colin Braun. I got a chat question from Rob D'Amico. He wonders if you'd like to see another road race in the Chase, looking ahead to the day when you might be in the Chase.
Well, I'd certainly like it. I think road racing is really fun and certainly something that takes a lot of skill, and I think a lot of the drivers in NASCAR enjoy it too. We go testing a lot with Carl Edwards and Greg Biffle and those guys, and we always talk about road racing and what's going on in that world, so I think it'd be a lot of fun.
You test with them because they're ostensibly your teammates. You're part of the Roush Racing organization. Do they come to you for tips? Are you able to give those guys, despite their level of experience, road racing pointers because of your expertise in that area?
I don't think so. Those guys have so much experience at road racing and the oval racing that, I feel like they give me maybe 100 things that I can do on an oval track, talking to me for a few minutes, and I maybe can give them one thing they can do on a road course. But, it's a lot of fun to go with those guys and just try to get it and pick up as many tips as you can.
So you raced in the 24 Hours of Daytona when you were 16 years old. It was a team of 16-year-olds, and one of those was Brad Coleman, and he goes on to do a NASCAR development deal with Gibbs Racing, and then the sponsorship dried up, and he ends up sitting out for, I don't know, it was 10 months or something. Finally got back in the Nationwide car last week and got a top 10 at Nashville. The point being that this NASCAR thing can be a pretty tough nut to crack. I mean, you've got a great inroad driving a Roush truck. That's been a jumping off point for guys like Carl Edwards. When you said in victory lane after winning the race yesterday, you thanked Jack Roush for sticking with you. What did you mean by that?
Well, and speaking about victory lane, I got to say one thing first. I didn't mention Conway Freight or Ford in my post-race interview there.
Oops.
After the race. I was so excited. It must have seemed like it must have been my first NASCAR win, which I guess it was. So,
yeah,
but
exactly.
Totally missed the boat on saying thanks to those guys. So I want to throw that in there. But, to your question, it's certainly a tough nut to crack. And Jack Roush has stuck with me through a lot of things. We had an up and down year last year. We'd have a great race, we'd have a bad race. We'd have a great race, we'd have a bad race, and we couldn't really get the momentum going. And he just kind of stuck with me. We'd have a lot of meetings, talk about what I did right, what I did wrong, and try to improve on that.
How did you make that connection in the first place? How did you hook up with Roush?
Well, basically the short story is when I was racing those Grand Am prototype cars, we had Roush Yates built engines. So got to know Jack Roush, got to know Robert Yates, a lot of the great people at Ford that built those fast engines. So just made the connection that way.
Is there a dilemma for you when you look ahead at Roush Racing? They've got 5 Cup cars, one of which has to go at the end of this year. And of course, there's a lot of speculation about how they might farm that out or whatever. But I mean, you're looking at a team that has more drivers than it has rides, and you're trying to move up in that team. Can you tell us anything about the career path? What kind of commitment they've made to you? How you see this Roush and success story as of yesterday evolving?
Well, I certainly hope it continues to evolve. I feel like we both have a good relationship with each other, and right now I love working with my crew chief Mike Beam on this number 6 Conway Freight Ford F-150 truck, and I feel like if we just keep doing what we did yesterday and keep that up, and if we continue to have good runs and show promise, I know sponsors will keep showing up at the door, and there's nobody better attracting sponsors and keeping sponsors than Roush Fenway Racing. So hopefully we can keep going.
Especially if you continue to work both Conway and Ford into each interview twice to make up for yesterday. Nice job, kid. That microphone's in the way, but I want to shake your hand. You did an excellent job, and it's a pleasure to have you on the show tonight.